Welcome to Keto Meals and Recipes.com. Before beginning this recipe, I want to thank everyone who has subscribed, commented, liked, or watched any of my videos on YouTube. Because today I'm celebrating our second anniversary of this YouTube channel, and it's also my birthday. So for this special occasion, I wanted to make and share with you my raspberry surprise no-bake cheesecake. This cheesecake is a wonderful combination of a smooth and creamy lemony no-bake cheesecake with a complimentary raspberry center. And I really like this cheesecake because it's also very beautiful both inside and out. And the macronutrient ratio for this recipe with the garnish as shown is 4.621 with 10.1 gram of total carbs, 1.4 grams of dietary fiber, resulting in 8.7 grams of net carbs per serving. Although the carbs may seem high, the slices are quite generous. But if you don't want to add the fruit garnish, here are the macronutrients. As you can see, not adding the fruit improves the ratio and reduces the carbs per serving. Now let's get started. There are two parts to this recipe. First, you have to make a batch of my cooked raspberry jelly with just a couple modifications. I'd like to mention that because raspberries are out of season at the moment, I'm using frozen raspberries that have no sugar or anything else added. Begin by putting the berries into a small pot. The link for my cooked raspberry jelly will be posted in the description below. But just to highlight the instructions, the other modification you have to make to this version of the jelly is instead of using 2 envelopes, you only use 1. In other words, 7.2 grams of powdered gelatin instead of the 14.4 as per the original recipe. By reducing the gelatin, you're still getting a bit of firmness, but it's not a complete jelly like a gummy bear texture. And to your raspberries, add your sweetener ground to confectionery powder. And as you're cooking the raspberries, don't mash them, because in this version, you actually want larger chunks and pieces of your raspberries. You want a coarser texture, and it also looks very nice when you cut into it. Stir gently, and then allow the raspberry mixture to come to a light simmer. And what you have to do is just simmer this mixture until the sweetener has completely dissolved. Then allow the jelly to cool slightly, and pour it into a 6-inch or 15.25 centimeter springform pan that you have lined with cling wrap. You'll find that the cling wrap works better than parchment in this case. Then place everything into the freezer until the raspberries are completely frozen. Now for part 2. When you know that your raspberry mixture has completely frozen and is solid, you can start making the cheesecake. And the first step for this is to line your 8-inch or 20.3 centimeter springform pan with parchment paper both on the bottom and on the sides. And prepare your gelatin. Into a small dish, add the water and the gelatin powder, stir until the gelatin is dissolved, and set aside to allow the gelatin to bloom. To a large mixing bowl, or if you're using your stand mixer, first place the paddle attachment on, and then add the room temperature soft cream cheese. Then add the sour cream and whip to combine. About 1 minute will do. Next, I add the confectionery sweetener. You can either stop or add the confectionery sweetener as you continue to whip at very low speed. And then add the vanilla and the lemon juice. While everything is whipping, remelt the gelatin and pour into the cheesecake mixture while you continue to whip at medium speed until all your gelatin has been added. And you have to be extra careful so that the gelatin does not touch the cooler bowl sides. Continue whipping until the mixture is very creamy and all the ingredients are well combined. As always with cream cheese and heavy textures like this, don't forget to stop at least once or twice, scrape the bottom and sides of the pan, and then continue whipping to make sure that you've got all the cream cheese incorporated. And while that's going on, into a separate mixing bowl, add the heavy whipping cream and whip at high speed until you get to the soft peak stage. And the last part of making the cheesecake is to add the whipped cream into the cheesecake mixture and fold gently or whip at low speed until everything is well combined. Next, pour half of your cheesecake mixture into a lined springform pan and then refrigerate for about 30 minutes. This will be just enough time for the cheesecake to firm up and to be stiff enough in order that you can place your raspberry jelly on top without it sinking into the cheesecake. Now it's time to get the raspberry frozen jelly from the freezer. Remove it from the springform pan and peel off the liner. place the frozen raspberry jelly into the center of the first layer of the cheesecake, and if you've got the bottom still on, peel it off at this time. Then pour the rest of the cheesecake mixture on top of the raspberry jelly. Spread the cheesecake around so that it forms a nice even layer, and then use an offset spatula to smooth out the top of the cake. Spend a little extra time and make it really nice and smooth and glossy. The presentation will be much nicer if you do so. Then you just simply place the cheesecake back into the refrigerator. Leave the cheesecake in the refrigerator until it's completely firm and well set. I find letting it set overnight is best, but a few hours will also do, except it'll be a little bit softer. When the cheesecake is firm, the first thing you do is remove the springform pan and peel off the parchment paper. Then, depending how you want to serve it, with or without the garnish, the cheesecake will look beautiful, just simple and plain and creamy white. So you can choose to serve it plain like this, or decorate with fresh fruit as I'm about to do, because this is a special occasion. Now I'm going to walk you through the steps of how to decorate. I have cut 4 medium ripe strawberries in half so that each half has a few green leaves. And the easiest way to make sure that my strawberries are spaced evenly is to first put my strawberry at the 12 o'clock position with the leaves facing the outside, and the next strawberry at the 6 o'clock position, then 3 and 9 o'clock, and then place a strawberry halfway in between each of these. Next, I place 2 raspberries between each of the strawberry halves. I like to place one raspberry with its opening towards the center and the other towards the outside. I think it just looks nicer that way. And continue doing this all the way around. And if you have any raspberries left over, fill in any of the white spaces with a third little raspberry. The last thing I did was to add the blueberries, which I staggered as shown. To me, this looks very happy and festive, don't you think? One of the really nice things I like about this raspberry surprise no-bake cheesecake is that you can actually serve it any time of the year at all. I also like this cake because if I'm serving it to someone who has not had my cheesecake before, when I cut it, they're so surprised when they see the center. When the cheesecake is done in this way, with every single bite, you'll have that wonderful lemony tartness and smooth texture, complemented by the sweeter raspberry, coarser texture. It's a really wonderful complex mouthfeel. So I hope you give this cheesecake a try. Before ending, I would like to thank each and every person who has taken time to watch any of my videos, and especially a great big thank you for all of you people who have subscribed and turned on their notification bell. And going into the 3rd year, I hope my recipe videos and macro information as provided are very helpful to you. See you next time. In the description below, you'll find both the link to the printable Raspberry Surprise No-Bake Cheesecake and the Keto Raspberry Jelly video.